popular radio program in the country, the Opie and Anthony radio show. They are syndicated all around the United States. Can also be heard on XM satellite radio. Please welcome Opie and Anthony. Good to see you. Let me guess, you're Anthony, you're Opie.
Because some people don't get that right.
Really, yeah.
They go, who's who? It's like, which one would you think would be Opie and which one's the Italian guy?
Exactly.
Get it right. It's very exciting, tonight's show, man.
Yeah,
finally a moment I could be proud of.
Yeah, there you are.
Well, with radio, you get those are few and far between.
Well, I understand. Now, you guys been doing this, what, 13 years?
12 years, actually.
Okay, so how did you meet? Where did that come about?
Well, thanks to OJ we met. OJ did his thing. I was doing a radio show.
Right.
And Anthony's band wrote a little song parody. And he came in to perform the song live, and radio magic happened.
Wow.
I was in construction before that, so I was putting in air conditioning ductwork. And that was my whole thing. He went to school for years.
I did it the right way.
Eked it out across the country doing radio. And I found a coattail and just went like...
Really? Well,
hopped right on board.
You're honest.
Yeah.
Is this better than air conditioning? You like radio?
Yeah. 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day.
There's some stuff up there, though, Ant. You could...
clean that duct, man.
Yeah, there's a couple ducts
people
up there.
still tell me, you know, my heat doesn't work. I'm like, call the guy. There's a guy for that. It ain't me no more.
Now, where did the name Opie come from besides, I guess, the obvious?
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
I've had this name since I was 8 years old. And,
Really?
Yeah. And I wanted to meet him my whole life. I was in Starbucks a couple weeks ago on the Upper West Side in Manhattan, walked in, and I go, I think that's Ron Howard. And I go and I order my coffee, and I turn around, and a fan's in there. He goes, Opie? I go, yeah, but the guy I'm named after was just here. Where did he go? And Ron Howard ran out. And I ran across the street, and I got to meet him.
You got to meet him. Okay.
You talk to him like, hey, Opie.
I go, yeah.
I'm like, I'm Opie too.
I go, I'm named after you.
Yeah. Oh. He must have been thrilled. Great. You're named after him.
He did say, you know, when he Googles his name, you know, some of my bad stuff comes up, and he's a lot different than I am. So.
We've had quite a journey.
We've had some problems.
You have had
a journey. Radio is one of those businesses. It's very odd. The worse you do, the worse trouble you get into, the better job you get. And it doesn't happen in any other bit. You never see like, Peterson, you lost the Anderson file. You had sexually harassed the secretary and. Vice President Peterson. It just never. Radio, though, I know. You screw up and you screw up. That's right. You get a better gig.
Show business is the opposite of real life.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It's bizarro life.
How many times you guys been fired?
2, I guess.
Two technically.
But huge. Now, I remember, I'm from Boston. I remember an incident a couple of years ago, maybe it's like 7, 8 years ago, where you guys went out, and for some reason you decided to announce that the mayor had been killed or murdered or something.
We used the public airwaves and said he may have been dead.
But it was April Fool's Day.
It was April Fool's Day, and believe me, the station we were on was not a news station.
Right.
You know? It definitely...
But still, it seems a little irresponsible. The mayor has been killed.
You know what it was, though? We were just so sick of the typical DJ-like jokes that they do on April Fools. Hey, if you look out your window at noon, there's going to be a meteor outside. Yeah. Is there? And then, so Opie called me up in the morning and said, you know, let's just say the mayor's dead. And I'm groggy. Yeah, okay, fine.
He wasn't awake yet, so...
No, I wasn't awake.
And I was in a bad place that morning, so I said, you know, what the heck? Let's blow up our careers today.
It sounded great at the time.
And what happened? Did you guys get fired for that?
Escorted to the Connecticut state line. And
really?
Never to return.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Is this mayor or king? Can you do that?
He's been there long enough.
And how does the mayor escort you to the state line?
I said, please do not return the gun. And if you know Menino, it's like that.
He's been holding a grudge ever since, by the way.
Now, I noticed you seem to do impressions of different people. Someone told me you do a very cruel me. Is that true?
Well, it's not really that. I just thought I'd maybe work on my car and put a space shuttle engine in a Volkswagen bus today and drive that into work.
You know, you're fired. Get out.
I'm sorry.
Now, I know you do Tony Danza. I don't know anybody does.
We had a lot of... Well, I felt I was so mad when he got canceled because he was like great. Now you work on your monologues and stuff and you're professional. He would go out there and I don't know what, it was like some kind of a one-man improv thing. He'd be thoughts and prayers to everybody in India, the families of the earthquake victims. It was awful. I got to give my love and thoughts and prayers. Bagpipes are some instrument, huh? And you're like, where did that come from? What is this guy? He's just pulling subjects out of a satchel.
Now you do Stern too, Al. You do Howard Stern?
Yeah, well, that came up out of the mutual hatred, I guess, of each other. Yeah, there's been a battle that's gone on for quite a while.
A bit of a feud?
A little feud. And, you know, in the 90s and stuff, he was the pinnacle of what the shock jock thing was.
Right.
And now to see him hit the talk show trail and pretty much as a radio salesman, it's a little sad to see, you know, let me tell you, Crazy Howie, my prices on this radio, insane, Robin, insane.
Very good, Howard.
Let me tell you, you're ripping me off, Jay. You're ripping me off. You have a microphone, you're talking into it. That was me. I invented that.
Well, I know, like most people, you have a feud with Howard. How did it start?
Yeah.
We don't really know.
Yeah,
You don't know?
We came to New York, and he was in New York. We started getting popular. He was mad. It just happens that way.
Yeah.
You gain a little popularity. He was mad. It didn't really get on the air. It kind of behind the scenes thing with the bosses, and we were all constantly being called in and chastised by the bosses. And he generally is not a nice person.
Wow. All right. Now, have you guys been fined as well?
No.
They give donations to the FCC every once in a while just to keep them happy.
Just on one of those
There's no official, I don't think they have ever paid a fine officially, but a donation.
Officially.
What have you been fined for?
We got into a couple of jam-ups. When,
To jam up.
Yeah,
Well,
some bad words went out over the air. You know, you got those 7 that Carlin used to say.
You guys have 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to answer, and there may have been an incident where a couple had sex at a church, maybe.
I do. That was the big one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, we got like 2 years off for that.
Yeah, you got fined for 2 years.
We were told we were fired, but we'll pay you to not go somewhere else. So we were getting paid for 2 years, which was kind of cool. But after like 6 months, you realize all your friends are working.
Yeah, I'm lost here for a second. Yeah. You two are in a church?
No, not these two. Not these two. But again, that might be their next stunt. Keep listening. Watch the ratings. That could be the next stunt. Guys, we gotta go.
Jay,
Anthony, Opie, thank you, gentlemen. Be right back.